All good.
Okay, great. Thank you guys for making time tonight. John has let me join to talk a little bit about the STC-FTC Mentoring Program, which we do every year from fall to spring. So I put together some slides that I'm overly enthused about, as you all now know, just to walk you through what the program is, how it works, what the requirements are, and what the next steps would be if you want to participate. So I guess we'll just go ahead and get started. I will keep an eye on the chat. If you have questions, feel free to pop them there or raise your hand or unmute yourself and if you have something you want to ask along the way. But first, back to John.
All right, cool. So yeah, I just wanted to say a couple FTC announcements before we start to get into the meat of what the mentoring program is and hear from all of our speakers. And thanks again for Bethany, Julia, Nancy, and Jessica, for all of you for coming to support this meeting. They have a lot of great insight on the program and just from being an STC also. So thank all of you. And in terms of FTC announcements, not too much, but just a couple bullet points. One, if you're not a member yet, if you haven't signed our membership form, we definitely encourage you to. It's a great way to stay connected with the club. You just give us a little contact information, and then we just make sure that you're hooked into our programs and our email list and things like that. And we're looking forward to having some other membership benefits in the future for those who become an official member of ours, and it's free. So yeah, if you haven't signed up for official membership or if you're new, definitely do that. And I'll be posting a link shortly. And after this meeting, our next one is 2 weeks from now, and that's going to be another social, another game night social. Those are always a fun time. Anybody who's been to one just knows how it has a lot of fun energy, a lot of chaotic energy. So yeah, be sure to join us a couple weeks from now. We're going to be having another social. So that's about it. And I'll be posting the link in the chat with the membership application, our social media to get connected, and so on and so forth. So that's about it on the FTC end. So I'll pass it back to you, Bethany.
Okay, thanks, John. Just a quick introduction to me and who I am for those who don't know me. My name is Bethany Aguad. I'm currently one of the coordinators for the program with John. So I work primarily with the mentors while John works with the mentees. Back in the day, I was an FTC president. I have very fond memories of my time in the club. So I'm always happy to keep working with the club as we move forward with the program. I did graduate from UCF with my BA and MA in English Technical Communication. And I now work in a very glamorous job where I'm a technical documentation specialist, which mostly means I publish technical documentation to a website, in short. But I really like what I do. I first started in the mentoring program when I was a mentee in 2011. And since 2016, I've been a mentor, most recently working with John and Julia. So very happy to see they still like me after spending a whole year working with me on many, many projects. So it's been a great experience. And at the moment, I am the president of the Florida chapter. I was previously, and then I served on the STC board. So now I'm back in the president's seat and happy to be part of the chapter. I guess I think it was Nancy who said she wanted to know what Harry Potter houses people were in. If you're willing to share, if you care at all, if you know, can you put in the chat for Nancy's edification? And I will say that I have done the official Pottermore quiz twice, and I have been sorted into Gryffindor both times. It was not what I anticipated, and it was not what I felt was me. So because almost all of my friends are in Ravenclaw. Not that you can't be cool and not be in Ravenclaw, but a lot of fun artistic people in Ravenclaw. Okay, Ravenclaw. Yeah, okay. Yep, thank you for proving my point. Well, we have a couple Slytherins. So I guess without further ado, I'm going to get into what I'm going to cover on the program. Ben is trimodal. Oh, also, sorry, other introduction thing for those who don't know, I am Ben's older sister. I feel like I should mention that in case it comes up later. So thank you, Ben, for also tolerating me being here. Okay, so I'm going to break it down into a few things. I'm going to talk about what is the Society for Technical Communication and what is our mentoring program and how it works, and then talk about the benefits of student membership in STC, which of course is separate from the FTC membership that John was just talking about, and then what the next steps are for the program. After that, because they are so kind and gracious, Jessica and Nancy and Julia were going to share a little bit about their experience as mentor and mentees in the program in the recent the recent years, I guess would be the best way to say that. And then we're all happy to answer your questions about how it works or what to expect or, what the flexibilities of the program. But as I mentioned, feel free to put stuff in the chat if it comes up along the way. All right, so STC. I've told John this before. FTC existed before I joined, and I do think our acronyms are confusing. So sometimes we have to differentiate between STC and FTC. So I'm going to start with what is the Society for Technical Communication, since you guys already know what FTC is. So if you are a technical communicator, this is the world's largest and oldest professional association for the field. So that's members include all the way from students up through practitioners, academics, your professors, managers in the field, people who are high level up at companies who are in tech comm. It's a very, very broad field, and the STC tries to support everyone regardless of where they are in their careers. So people are across all industries. A lot of the people you'll be in Florida are in defense, so working at companies like Northrop Grumman and Lockheed Martin. I'm currently working for a financial services company. Before that, I worked for a vacation ownership company. So we have a lot of people working in different places and different types of content. So one of the great things about TechCom, there's so much to learn. I do want to highlight that the society has geographic chapters and also special interest groups so that you can join. So aside from being a broadly available organization, there are specific groups. So when I say I'm the Florida chapter president, that is one of our geographic chapters. We are the one for Florida, hence the name. And the special interest groups also cover things like if you're interested in technical editing, or I think there's several for like agile development methodology. So things that you might see when you're looking to apply for jobs, there's a lot of groups who are kind of specially focused in on those interests, and they host programming that you can attend to learn more about those specific facets of the field. Okay, so about the Florida chapter. Chapter was formed in 1977, dedicated originally to the Central Florida area. Jessica has updated so you can see our logo as our background. And now we've expanded beyond that to all of Florida. So everyone who is in Florida, we are happy to see at our chapter meetings. We also have members who are not in Florida who just really like us, which is very nice that they participate. We've always had a really close relationship with the University of Central Florida. That's how many of us came into the chapter. We started as students who were at FTC, joined STC through the mentoring program, and then became, regular professional members after graduation. So we have monthly educational meetings. We also do some networking meetups and generally provide information on job resources. But the mentoring program is one of the best things that we do. I say as someone who's been on both ends of that experience. So overall, I think we're a cool group of nerds. Maybe I don't know how to judge cool, but you now know that a lot of us like Harry Potter, and we like to talk about fonts and the fact that we think words are very relevant when other people do not care sometimes. So it's just a great group to not only spend time with, but also to get to know. And many of us have been able to receive job opportunities, whether interviews or placement, directly through our contacts in the chapter. Because despite being a large, broad professional organization, the field of tech comm is surprisingly small. Everybody kind of knows everybody else. Jessica's nodding. The longer you work in the field, the more you run into someone, you go, oh, you know so-and-so? Well, I worked with them back at this other company. So especially when you're just starting out as a new technical communicator, it really helps to have those direct connections to people so you can kind of get in to the group. And I don't think we're too intimidating to network with because, like I said, I think we're a cool group of nerds. So I will at the end mention our next upcoming meeting that I hope you guys will be able to join. All right, so about the mentoring program. How does it work? I know that's really the main reason you're here. I did put in a Dumbledore quote, so this is the only overt Harry Potter reference in here. But I'll just say for a little bit about my mentoring experience. I first joined FTC because Dr. Applin made me. For those who know Dr. Applin, I am so grateful he did. I did not know what I was doing, but he was like, you're going to join this club. And then after I joined that club, they said, okay, you need to go to an STC meeting. I said, okay, I really want to get a job when I graduate. I was in it for the money. I'll admit that. But I went to my first meeting and I sat next to a man named Dan Voss, who was my mentor for many years after that, after talking to me for about 2 minutes, was like, "You seem great. You want to run a mentoring program with me?" So that was kind of how I started. And we went on to co-present together at conferences, and we co-authored a chapter in a textbook together. So, a lot of that experience directly comes from having started the mentoring program. So I strongly encourage you to give it a shot if you're looking to not just build your networking connections, but also, I would say, who I was as a person and figuring out what I wanted to do in the field, because it is so broad and it helped me figure out what I was good at. So I'm very grateful to Dan for giving someone he had just met a shot and letting me, just get into things. All right. So I want to go over how it works. Basically, we have an online application that the talented John has helped me improve so that it takes just probably a few minutes to fill out, just to get some information on you and your background, and most importantly, what you'd like to learn. We have a little bit of information about personality and preferences, because we use that information to go to step 2, pair you up with a mentor. Occasionally, we're really lucky and people are a perfect fit. I think Nancy and Jessica were one of those people that when we were looking to pair people, we were like, "Oh, perfect. They're going to be great together." And then it was easy going from there. But we do our best to make sure that if you're really interested in a particular part of technical communication, like you're like, "I'm really interested in web design," we'll try to pair you up with someone whose expertise is in web design. We can't always guarantee that everything will match up perfectly, because our mentors are also people and not robots, so we can't program them. But this was really where the Harry Potter theme came up, because I was thinking about sorting. So the coordinators, which are John and myself, review all the applications after they're submitted and then try to find the best fit for each person. After that, we don't tell you who your mentor is until we have our very exciting kickoff, where we reveal, who has been paired with whom. So we do some icebreakers and some activities just to give you guys a chance to know each other. I won't repeat the activity I did last time, which was an editing assignment. The group took it way too seriously. I don't know if they just can remember that. They really wanted to edit the piece I gave them. So normally in the past, we would have done that in person over food. It used to be sometimes over breadsticks at Olive Garden. But alas, we now do it online through Zoom, because we're anticipating the program being entirely virtual this year. But that's something we'd be trying to do in a few weeks. So after that, the thing you come out of the kickoff with is a plan for your first meeting with your mentor or mentee. We leave a lot of that up to the mentors and mentees. We don't mandate that you must meet every 2 weeks or you must meet every week or what medium you have to use, because that has not proven successful. And every group is different, and we do take communication style preferences into account when making the pairings. So for instance, Julie and I typically meet, I would say it's supposed to be every week. Sometimes it's 3 weeks out of 4 based on scheduling, when we're work out our mentoring projects, where we just do a Zoom call and chat that way. For others, they prefer to go by, through some sort of messaging app or by email. So that's something that you talk about with your mentor or mentee at the kickoff to define, so that you're ready to know what's the expectation and what are you guys trying to accomplish together. Just want to mention again some of the benefits, why you join. I don't know about you guys, but when I was getting my degree, my goal was to get a job that I could then use for money, for food and shelter, maybe the occasional piece of entertainment, wands, that sort of thing, whatever is required. But I wasn't sure how to do that as someone who had good grades and FTC when I started. So one of the things I think really helps is it just kind of gives you more visibility in the field. Like people are aware of you, not just your mentor, but other people in the profession know who you are, can vouch for you, are more likely to give you a chance. It gives you that person who's speaking for you when you're applying for jobs. Also, just general guidance on how to search for a job and provide assistance, resume reviews, cover letters, that sort of thing. the resume review is essential. I would say as part of the mentoring relationship, it's one of the projects we recommend. Jessica's making a face. And just more importantly, develop your networks, even beyond your mentor. Just by virtue of being in the mentoring program, it shows our chapter of STC that you're someone who's invested in your career and yourself. And we're all very happy to help you. So even if I'm not the one mentoring you, but I know you're in the mentoring program, if you reach out and say, I'm applying for a job with your company, I am very happy to make sure your resume goes to the right place and, give you that extra assistance and, answer questions. Or if you find that you're interested in a field your mentor's not in, we're overall a very collaborative, helpful group because most of us have been on the other side when we were just students trying to get into the field. So overall, I hope you would find it would be a good experience. All right. So just what I should apply to the program. It's really simple. You apply online for free. You just fill it out. And then the information just goes to John and I. We're the only people that review what you enter. Not that we're asking for anything secret. We will not ask for your social security number or your mother's maiden name. We're not trying to steal your identity. But we'll ask some things like, what are you looking to get out of the program? What do you think you can contribute? But I do want to clarify that after you apply, we'll let you know once we've paired you with a mentor mentee, when we're going to schedule that kickoff, all that sort of thing. And if you're accepted, which is what we would be telling you, then you would need to join STC and the Florida chapter. So I know FTC's dues are free. We do have dues for the society, which also for you would include our chapter, which is usually $75 for the year. But they typically let you, as students, pay this year, so you get the rest of this year for free and into next year. And I'll go into some of the benefits you'll get from the student membership. Just gonna pause. Are there any questions so far? I talk fast. Okay,
I
excellent.
have a question.
Yes.
How many mentors do you have?
So it varies. We're actually accepting mentor applications right now. If we suddenly had like 50 mentees, that is more mentors than we have. And we have some mentors who are willing to take on more than one mentee. But it's usually, oh, sorry, I just saw someone's trying to join. At least 12 people for our chapter. We've never had to turn away a mentee, if that provides any reassurance. We've always been able to find someone.
Additionally, are there any subfields of technical communication that you don't have mentors to cover?
Good question. Not off the top of my head, but I'm sure there is something that we wouldn't have someone who has expertise in. In those cases, though, usually we'll find you a mentor who's really well connected, who can help you kind of fill that gap, maybe with someone who's not interested in doing mentoring, but would be able to provide you some information or, some career assistance in that field.
Thank you.
Just out of curiosity, was there a particular subfield you were thinking of?
I'm personally interested in user experience research and usability studies and whatnot.
Jessica's nodding because we talk about all that time what a hot part of the field that is. So I'm certain we could find you somebody.
Awesome.
I see we have did I blink and miss the link to the Google form? John, you're the keeper of the link. Are we waiting to reveal it till the end? Is that like the finale, or feel free to share it at any point?
I could share it now and then share it again at the end too.
Whatever you like.
Yeah. I'll be posting it in just a moment then.
Okay. Well, I know I said you have to pay for student membership. That includes access to the mentoring program, but I wanted to highlight some of the other benefits. I'm sure John could tell you a bit as a very, very active student member in STC, some of the things that you can do, which includes eligibility for some of the STC honors. They have like a Sigma Tau Chi Honor Society for students you can apply for if you're a student member. There's also an STC scholarship that's available for STC student members. You can be a volunteer beyond our chapter, which is what John has been doing, as he is the student outreach director. I don't remember your exact title, John, on the Community Affairs Committee. So it gives you even broader visibility beyond the Central Florida area and Florida in general. If you were looking to, perhaps work elsewhere in the country or in the world. So it also gave more volunteer experience. They also have an online job bank. And if you wanted to do additional education beyond what you're doing in your degree, there is certification available, webinars and courses, and you get a discount on those as a student member. And I did put on here, you get access to the STC publications. There's a more formal academic journal called Technical Communication, and I guess a more practitioner-based magazine called Intercom. And I'm bringing it up also because I have to tell Julia that she actually wrote an article that was published in Intercom, and I just got the physical copy today, so I will be able to send that to you. She wrote an article on how Dungeons and Dragons relates to technical communication. So it's very good. I mean, I'm biased because I also like Dungeons and Dragons, but she did a good job. From the Florida side of things, like I mentioned, you do have to be a member to participate in our mentoring program. One of the other benefits we provide for student members is you get to attend all of our chapter meetings for free. Typically, once you're not a student, you do pay for monthly meeting fees, which is $6 for members, $12 for non-members, but free for students. And additional leadership development opportunities. So we even have a program after the mentoring program called Leadership Development Program, which currently both John and Julia know about because they've been working on it with me. But that's something we do even beyond mentoring for you to participate after you've graduated. We do send out local job listings. I know FTC does as well, but we do get some additional opportunities that we send out. And like I mentioned before, just opportunities to network with people across the state of Florida. So it's nice to know people who are going to be in your corner as you're, moving into the field. Okay. Don't worry, you're almost through having to listen to just me. You'll get to hear from some other people. We're really close. Next steps. So John has shared the link to the form.
Wait a minute, is that the honey badger that just doesn't care?
Oh, back there.
I was
Yes,
It could be if you wanted to be. That was not the direct inspiration. We do care very much.
My favorite Hogwarts house, the honey badger. Everyone's favorite.
Oh, we didn't have anyone who said they were at Hufflepuff,
Yes.
did we?
It's Hufflepuff with the badger.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, I guess we don't have any
How that
Hufflepuffs.
culture clash. Yes. Okay.
Yes, yeah.
You
All
think
right.
they're a lot. Honey.
Yeah.
They call Hufflepuffs care. Sorry, I was like honey puffs.
All right. So just talk about next steps. You've got the link that John shared for applying for the mentoring program. The applications are due October 22nd, which is in 2 weeks. So you don't have to fill it out tonight. This isn't like we're going to close them tomorrow if you don't apply. Feel free to think about it or, send any follow-up questions if you have them. We do pretty much right after that, John and I will be planning to do the pairings. So matching up our mentors and mentees and then schedule that kickoff, which we hope will be either last week of October or first week of November. We, of course, did not pick a date because we will be sending out a doodle poll probably to find the best date and time so that you don't show up to meet your mentor and we go, sorry, they had a scheduling conflict, at least without us letting you know ahead, which has happened. Oh, yeah, Jessica's noticed that the border colors match the house colors. I believe someone else pointed that out to me and I had not noticed. I think that was Julia. So without further ado, we've got one of our other mentors and a couple of our mentees who are going to share a little bit about their experiences and I think are happy to answer your questions. Since you've heard plenty from me, I'd like to hear from some new folks. I've got Jessica up first. Jessica, do I get to introduce you or do you want to introduce yourself? We didn't decide, so.
You can introduce me. That's going to make me feel like a star.
Okay. All right. So we have Jessica Nealon, who has been an active member in our program. She is currently the STC Florida chapter vice president. She graduated from SUNY. I don't know how to say that word. I don't know how to say that, Jessica. I'm so sorry.
Geneseo.
Geneseo with a BA in philosophy and then graduated from UNC Charlotte with a graduate certificate in English Technical Communication. She's working as a senior technical writer at Perseus Group, Constellation Software. Yes, it's a real place. And so she's been in the mentoring program since 2020. And like I mentioned, she's our STC Florida chapter vice president. So she's helping planning programming. And she also organizes with Nancy a group called the Certified Study Buddies, where they help people study for the certification exam. So I will hand it over to Jessica to talk about her mentoring experience.
Hi, I'm Jessica. That was really cool. I'm sorry, it's Friday night, everybody. It's Friday night and I worked right up to the meetings. I was just, Nancy, I was like, ooh, I should put the link, and I knew Nancy would do it. Which is a good intro to, I think Nancy and I have had an interesting mentor-mentee relationship because we embarked on this side project, which I don't think is normal for mentors and mentees. But I have to say, I was inspired. Nancy, it's your fault. No, it was inspired by Nancy. Yeah. Well, it was inspired by, it's one of those things where a mentor and a student can have a great experience, because this just was born out of me complaining about the certification and not being able to do the studying, and just really struggling with the material. And I think, Nancy, you were so close to being a student that she was like, no, you just get the textbook and then you just do this, and things that, it's been 17 years for me, and it's just hard. You'll find out after you graduate and then you get in the working world, your head is so full of information that there's just things about being a student again that you just forget and you don't know how to do. And I remember Nancy was like, no, you can do this. And no, you just do this. And I was like, all right, let's do it. And so that's what I mean by Nancy's fault. I'd always thought in my head we could do it, but I honestly was just missing some practical details. And I guess the get out and, just to get up and go. And it just comes from years of being out of school. So it was just sort of this weird thing of me going back. And there's so many things I know off the top of my head about what it's like to really be a technical writer in the field, but not how to study for a test. I did get certified in Madcap Flare, which is a software that we all use. So I did study for that test. Not everybody. It's a very popular tool in the field. So I didn't remember that, but that's very different. That's a tool I use every day. And that's just, where is this option? Where is that? These are the fundamentals of TechCom. And I hadn't studied it in so long. So it was very interesting, I think, that it was sort of, that's where we both learned. And there were just things I couldn't remember how to do. So it's also very helpful. And I think, I don't know, Nancy, maybe you can speak to it. Maybe it's helpful to know that even though you've been someone out in the field for 20 years, there's things you just don't know you don't remember how to do, and they're brand new, which I can offer you as in TechCom. You always feel like you don't know what you're doing. I mean, you do, but you're always thrown into a situation where you have to learn on the spot and act like you know what you're doing when you really often don't. Is that
we can't tell people to fake it till they make it.
I'm trying not to say that. I'm just sort of saying I've been.
We're lifelong learners.
Yeah. See, that's the way. I was like, there's a way to put this that isn't like you walk into a meeting and they slam you with things and you're like, sure.
Well, not all the time.
But it happens a lot. So it's something that you never grow out of. And I think I'm also saying this because I'm sure it's almost like when you walk into a different college class and you go, what the hell is this? You look at the syllabus and you read it and you think, and then you get there and the teacher starts talking. You're like, this is not at all what I thought this was going to be. And then you just have to figure it out. And that's exactly what it's like to be out in the field as a tech writer. So it's, we figure it out and we learn as we go along. And so that happens a lot. And so I think that's, there's a bridge there, and there's, I'm sorry, I'm losing the thread. I think as a mentor, I think one of the challenges is how different things are done in the field versus how they're done in the classroom. And I remember I had to acclimate to that. And the benefit for me of being a mentor was that I was able to remember those things and apply them to my job, and wonder how far I'd fallen. But it reminds you, that there's a process here, because especially when you work in an agile environment, and these days, especially 2020, 2021, with how crazy everything was, everything sort of got thrown into a Cuisinart and a blender, and not everybody was trying to figure out how to get their jobs done. So it's sort of, it was really a difficult time for everyone. So it's sort of, and fortunately as a tech writer, I think I was better positioned for that than most people, because that's normally what it is. I'm normally the person in the room that will know the least about a subject, because it's like they've all been meeting for months and I walk in as the first meeting, and then they're like, what do you mean you don't know? So I'm just taking notes. and you sort of you learn. So I don't know if that was helpful. That rambled a little bit, but there's a lot to learn on both sides. So I would advice I'd give to a mentee: there are things, if you get paired with a mentor, there are just things that we forget that you don't know. I remember I kept running into this with you, Nancy, where I was like, oh yeah, that's just secondhand. I don't even think about that as something in the field. But you really, I was like, I had to go way back as a student and remember, no, I didn't even think of that. Like, it's just, it's weird how much you forget when it's new. So always be afraid, never be afraid to say, I really don't know what you're talking about, or is there anything I'm missing, or, don't be worried about looking dumb, because there's a lot that we should be thinking of. And Bethany, you blew the curve because you make it look so easy when you think of everything. But I think it's just because you've been through it so many times that you just think, oh God, I really didn't explain that. And it's only because it's become like the back of your hand, so you don't even think to explain it. So definitely speak up like that and just say, I'm lost here. I don't know what you're saying. Or don't be afraid to ask a stupid question, because it could be your mentor not remembering that they have to explain something. Is that
Yeah.
fair to
I think
say?
I think that's good. Yeah, I certainly don't be afraid to ask questions. I know I asked a ton of questions as a mentee because I was like, I need to know everything. I need to be as prepared as possible. I need to hit the ground running. I need to be amazing at my first job. And you know what? I was not amazing at my first job right away, but I got there. So there's a lot that really helps, especially with background on how do large organizations work that you don't know when you're a student, and what's it like to be part of a documentation team or to be a solo writer. So there's a lot that I think we can share with you. And yeah, Nancy's right. There's like things we have to learn too. I have learned things from both John and Julia as my mentees, probably every single time we've met, where I go, oh, thank you, I did not know that. And then I think, gosh, I'm a generation older. There's things I just don't know. So you don't have to feel like it's going to be someone who's on high, like imparting wisdom down to you from the mountaintop, and who's not going to take your perspective seriously and find that you have something to offer as well. So can I put you on the spot, Nancy? Are you ready?
Sure. What's up?
Do you want to introduce yourself?
Hi, everybody. I'm Nancy Lopez, proud Slytherin.
Mm.
And Jessica is my mentor, has been since I graduated UCF in the winter of 2020. Jessica helped me get my resume together, which was like the key to me getting my first job. I got my first job just a few months after I graduated. Not that that's like typical. I'm not going to say that like you're guaranteed to get a job in this program, but it definitely helps to have somebody, looking over your shoulder, editing your resume, giving you tips on interviewing. That was a big one because I am notoriously horrible at interviews. But yeah, I got my first job, and I definitely thank Jessica for helping me get that, because if she hadn't polished up my resume, it wouldn't have happened. Anyways, so my first job is I got a job with GP Strategies, which is an e-learning contractor. Initially, I tried to apply for Lockheed Martin, and they ended up not taking me, but GP Strategies also works with Lockheed Martin, so as a subcontractor. So I get to work with Lockheed Martin, and my other clients include Electric Boat, which makes nuclear submarines. I also get to work with a company called Eastman Chemical, formerly known as Kodak, which is really cool. And State Farm is one of my smaller clients. Anyways, GP Strategies is an e-learning developer. They make employee courses for people who are training on equipment or learning new processes. Kind of similar to what Jessica does, only she does more software-based stuff. But yeah, I think the mentoring program made a really good match with me and Jessica. Even though we both are pursuing different fields, I'm more into editing and developing versus what Jessica does. But I still think it was a really great opportunity, and I'm really happy that I joined this. Oh, I ended up joining FTC in my senior year at UCF. So a little bit late to the game, yeah, but it was still a really good decision, and I'm just really happy that I did that. Yeah, so Jessica and I made the Certified Study Buddies, which helps people to get certified with STC if you intend to, pursue a career in technical communication, definitely recommend getting certified through the STC program. And this is a good jumpstart. You know, you're already in FTC, and then when you graduate, you'll transition into STC and then get your certification. It really looks good on a resume. And I definitely think that that's what helped me get my job. Just throwing it out there.
Awesome. Thank you, Nancy. And I know we had a few people I saw just join. I did put a link to the slides. So if anyone wants to catch up or anything or has questions, feel free to check the chat. So I think I'm going to hand it to Julia next.
Can I just jump in and make a point about the certification? Only because it's echoing what I said, because Nancy, you were recommending it.
Okay.
Only
Julia's nodding. She's allowing it. Yes, go
Okay,
for
thank
it.
Only because as a student, it's one of those things you don't think about. But one of the things I will tell you is one of the reasons, because I was talking about how I struggled with it. And I struggled with it because it's so close to the course material you're studying now. And when you're 17 years out, wow, do you not? It's like, if you've never done it, there's a lot in that material that I've never done in the field. So I'm having a really hard time having it stay in my brain. But I remember this. I used to read textbooks that were like this, because the main course material is a textbook that you could probably teach in a graduate or undergraduate level. So don't be intimidated by that. That's all I wanted to add. Is I know as a student, you're thinking, oh gosh, I got to go get certified. It's not full of stuff you need to know from the field. It's actually the opposite. It's stuff that working in the field for too long actually kind of works against you. So I just wanted to make that pitch that I've always said, the closer to your school experience that you get your certification, the better off you're going to be, because the further away you get, it's going to be harder to go back. So I just wanted to offer that.
Yeah, and just to clarify, there are different levels of certification. So the one they're talking about is the foundation certification, which is like the basic one. And then there's also a practitioner certification after you've pursued the first one. You can get a higher level certification down the road.
I'll drop the link in the chat.
Thanks, Jessica. All right, Julia, thank you for being patient. Take it away.
Anytime. I'm Julia Southwick. I'm one of Bethany's mentees, and I'm also the STC Florida Communications Chair and Newsletter Editor. Our newsletter is called Memo to Members, and I'm always open to new articles. Even if you've written something for class, like an essay or a short response to a question on homework, you can feel free to send that to me and I'll publish it. I have a really simple editing process. If it makes sense and there aren't any glaring typos that I notice, I can just publish it right away. And with that being said, I actually didn't join STC when I was in college, which I probably, looking back, should have. And I spent a while after graduation trying to find a job on my own. Let me tell you, I do not advise that. It is so hard and takes so long. I got super discouraged and ended up talking to Dr. Flamia, who suggested that I talk to Bethany, which timing didn't quite work out right then, but I ended up joining STC, which worked out just fine, as now we're in a mentor-mentee relationship. And my first job, which was over at Siemens, that unfortunately didn't work out for me, but a few months later, I got my current job. I'm at JHT Inc. We write technical manuals so that soldiers can use their equipment in the field. Only other thing I can think of to say right now is that being in the mentoring program really, really helps you get a job. So please, please, please get in the mentoring program. If you have any questions for me, let me know. I'll be watching the chat. You can also unmute and just ask.
Thanks, Julia. And yeah, I think we're at 7:15. I assumed we were going through 7:30, John. So we've got some time for questions if anyone has any.
I do. I know
that's a question.
No, I had an epiphany, and I just thought, I wonder how it helped. And I'm wondering, like, in your interview, it probably makes you not spaz, because I know that you're in your first interview and you know what they're asking. Am I right in that? It's been such a long time. I was an intern, so I didn't have to go through it, and then I was hired from the internship out of the program.
Gotcha. So you say, how does it help with the job search? I think for Julia, it was a lot of things. Julia, feel free to jump in and correct me if I'm wrong. I think it was finding opportunities, preparing to apply to those opportunities, and keeping, I guess, from getting too discouraged when certain things didn't pan out, knowing that we were going to be working on the next thing together. So we had something scheduled, like, well, okay, we did this week. We're going to do this one next week.
Yeah, that sounds about right. Because when I was looking, there were like maybe 5 new opportunities every 2 weeks, and very few of them met what I felt skilled in.
Mhm. And then also it helped that there's a STC Florida connection at JHT.
Yeah.
Directly. So who was one of my former mentees, actually, funny enough, who had been working there. So that worked out. I think, like they said, I think we can't guarantee that if you will join this, you will definitely get a job. But I think it really does help, especially if you're looking to work in Florida somewhere. And it's just nice to have someone who's supporting you and in your corner and is committed to helping you on your quest so you don't feel alone. Questions?
I would just
John?
chime in with this random thing based on what you were saying too. I feel like especially now with things being remote and just, things still constantly in a state of change, having a mentor, someone you can consistently talk to and meet with and learn from, just having someone like by your side, especially professionally, it's definitely a valuable asset. And because it can be difficult to make those connections or to network in a time like this, or to just, it's different than going into a conference room or like going to an in-person meeting and shaking hands with someone or saying, oh, hey, can you give me advice on this? It's difficult sometimes. So having a professional mentor just by your side is very helpful. I've experienced that just in my own mentorship experience. It's been helpful to just meet with my past mentor, to meet with Bethany and just receive their help, especially in a time like now. So I just wanted to pitch that in. It's a super helpful program, and being with someone to help you is always great.
Yeah, and I bragged on Julia's article, so I'm gonna brag on John for a second. John is kind of STC famous. In case you guys didn't know, like people are like, oh yeah, I saw John give a presentation. He's a great, well, they call you a kid. Sorry, John, because most people at STC are much older than you.
I accept it. I'm still a tiny baby in STC terms.
In STC terms, where I think the average age is like 50.
In comparison, I'm like
members.
2 months old.
Yeah. But no, I was gonna say, if you really especially want to put the time in, I originally joined, I said, for mercenary reasons, because I was like, I need help getting a job because I need money. But I stayed at STC because I like to be part of the community. I find the volunteering opportunities valuable. The things I've learned developing as a professional that I wouldn't get to do in the specific job I'm in really help, and especially getting to develop as a leader in a very specific type of way. It's something Julie and I are talking about, that a lot of us are very introverted people. I know we seem so confident now that you would never suspect, but it certainly helps to be around other people who have had similar struggles or overcome other obstacles. And I will say, for my mentoring with John, I think most of it has been, John, please learn from my mistakes on things. Let me tell you the things not to do, especially with FTC, because I've done it. So that's just a little bit more. I haven't seen any questions, so if I've missed anybody, feel free to unmute, or I know you could use your little reactions for hand raising. Sorry, it's not that your reactions are small, just in Zoom they're small.
Quick question. Do you have any connections in Europe?
In Europe? I do, but I don't think we have it directly through the mentoring program. That's part of the broader STC connections. Is that somewhere where you're looking to work in the future?
Belgium specifically, but
Belgium.
yeah, that'd be interesting.
I do know someone who's a technical documentation director in France, which is relatively close. So
That could work.
So if I can find you someone through the mentoring program, I will try to help you find connections with someone who can help you.
Thank you.
Because I know everyone. I know STC people pretty well, but
All right, so I'm going to throw you a curveball. Russia.
Sorry, Jessica.
Outer
Some
Mongolia.
No one, I'll clarify, no one in Russia. That's also partly because a lot of people who are in tech comm, we don't want to spend a lot of time working with people from Russia if you want to get a security clearance down the road. So no, Jessica, on this recording, no one in Russia.
I don't know why that popped into my head. Australia.
Yes.
Oh wait, oh yeah, she's on the board of the STC.
Yeah, yeah. Our current STC president is from Australia.
That's
A
right.
wonderful person.
He was
All
up
right.
at 3:00 in the morning during the most recent summit. I remember that.
Yeah. So yeah, there's lots of people at STC beyond our chapter. We've talked mostly about the Florida folks because that's who we spend most of our time with, but there is a broader STC that we're happy to help connect you with, wherever your path's going to take you. Not everyone's going to stay in Florida, especially with the opportunity to work remote for so many companies. It's great to be flexible, and it's a great profession to be in. I have to say, it's not perfect, but I like what I do. I think most of us do. Most of the time. There's some things we don't like. We have petty gripes. We won't go down that road though, because then we can talk about that for 30 minutes.
Well, what changes is the environment. The gripes you don't usually come from the work. They come from the environment that you're in.
You mean the people?
Well, yeah, just how your company has organized itself. For example, we're going to be talking about this, I think, in an upcoming meeting, how they do something called agile methodology, how they do Scrum, how the projects are managed. I'm sure, Nancy, you're learning that because you're on so many different projects. And that's normally where the gripes come in. If I can offer advice, it's just sometimes there's always difficult people, but the gripes normally come from the structure of the work rather than the work itself. I'll put it that way.
We like the work.
The work is actually, it's funny. You take refuge in the work when you just can't deal with the way it's, your way your project is being done.
Yeah, we'll be real with you. We'll tell you hard truths if you want to know them about working for large, medium, and small corporations. So I haven't seen any questions. So I just wanted to highlight that our next meeting is going to be on Zoom. You are all welcome to attend for free. I will get the link in a second to make sure you know how to RSVP for that. It's going to be a panel presentation called Lessons from New TechCom Professionals. Both Nancy and Julia will be on that, talking more about, kind of making that transition into the field early on and what things you can learn. I'm especially excited because they have entered the field at a very different time from both Jessica and I, because it is a different world now than it was when I started working and when Jessica started working. So I think there'd be a lot you could learn there about making that transition from their perspective. So let me grab that link.
Yeah, and Bethany enlisted me to facilitate, so I need to learn, but we'll try to make it a lot of question and answer because definitely there'll be ideas, but we'll do that as well. I think that's good because there's for the old farts in the room who want to know.
Right. What do we not know?
What do we not know?
All right. Well, that is all I had for slides. Thank you all so much. Thank you for listening to our antics about Harry Potter and the work we do. We're an honest bunch. We'll be real with you no matter what. And I hope you'll consider joining the mentoring program. I know we've had opportunities for questions throughout. I think we've still got a few minutes left. And also, I could give you the link for the mentor mailbox that would go to John and I if you have questions later, if you think of something later on. Because I know sometimes questions emerge for me about 2 hours after the meeting is over when my mind is at rest. So anything in the meantime?
And anyone can always feel free to hop in our Discord and ask a question too, the FTC Discord. I'll put a link to it.
Oh yeah, you can ping me there too. I do check Discord pretty regularly.
Yep. So we're happy to answer questions,
we have a
especially
question.
mentoring program related in there.
Yeah, we have a question. Is the textbook a required read? For the certification exam, yes. For the mentoring program, no. You do not have to do the certification as part of the mentoring program. I don't know if that was the question, but I think that answered it. If it was, is it required for the certification? Yes, you definitely need the textbook for certification.
Wouldn't it be hilarious if we said you have to buy the textbook and you have to read it?
Yeah, mentoring is not a class.
If we run out of mentors will just tell you that you have to do that. And all the
Oh
mentees-
no, that would be such a sad
it would be
fallback.
No, it's not required.
No. The mentor program is much more about the human interaction and projects, mutual projects. Julia and I have worked on so many articles together for Memento members. Reiterating that again, what Julia said about having the opportunity to be published on our sort of our blog and our newsletter. If you are going to be getting your name out there soon for a job, it really helps to have your name show up. If someone searches for your name and tech writing or tech comm, I do see some people here. You're probably safe. You've got unique names. Some of the others, I'm sorry, you're a John Clement where there's 100 of you. So it
So
does
many
not hurt.
Johns.
It does not hurt to have articles published with your name on them that are directly related to the profession, because companies will Google you.
And it also helps to have a mentee who's smart enough to post it to LinkedIn. Nancy, I saw
Yes.
that you posted your own, Nancy had a member spotlight, and I saw that you posted it to LinkedIn. I was like, right, I should have done that. So you can also do that as well. So
And at this point, I can make a GitHub page if you are Nancy and tech savvy, to Jessica's point.
And one thing that I just
cannot get
remembered,
it.
Oh, what was that, Julia?
one thing that I just remembered is something that Bethany frequently says. In a mentorship, each half of the pair learns as much from the other. It's definitely a collaborative thing. I've learned a lot from Bethany, and as she said earlier, she's learned a lot from me too.
It should be very reciprocal. It's not like having an instructor. At least I would hope not. we don't
Hasn't been in my
grade your work. All right. I
And
guess
often though, I can say as a mentor, and I'm just remembering when I first went into the field, it's very rare to have someone who will tell you how stupid the work environment can be. And I remember when I spent a lot of time in my first year in TechCom, like, what is going on? I don't understand. Why is this normal? And it really was, and I just didn't know it. I didn't know that that's just normal.
well, actually, there is something there to people telling you, just having it reaffirmed, like, no, you were doing the right things. You are doing nothing wrong. You are good. Sometimes stuff just happens.
That is normal for a software development meeting. That is how they
Yeah.
really talk.
Or for job hunting too, to be like, sorry,
Yeah,
sometimes
right.
it just doesn't work out. Sometimes they just hire somebody with more experience. It's okay. It does not mean you are lacking in any way. We'll keep
Right.
going.
And sometimes someone will have a meltdown in a meeting and they'll direct it at you and it has nothing to do with you. There's things that happen when you're in the field and you just kind of cannot believe that it's going on. It took me a lot longer to figure that out because I didn't have anyone to ask, really. So there's that's one of the benefits. And as a mentor, we like Bethany said, we will keep it real and just say, yes, that is pretty normal.
Oh yeah. And we'll share stories of our mistakes. As you
Just
might have
crazy
guessed.
things that happened that you just didn't know what to do, and you realize that no one else on the team knew what to do either.
Mhm.
So it's a very weird world in the IT. Not in TechCom. I find that it's just dev teams that are just weird, and you think the odd things happen and you don't know what's going on, and you're sort of in the middle of it because you're in it, but you're not totally in it.
Yeah.
And that can be strange to navigate.
Good point. We love working with other TechCom people. It's when we have people in outside roles that don't understand TechCom where we're like, what's going on?
Yeah.
But we learn and we navigate. So I see we have, Cassandra said, a symbiotic relationship. Does that mean that one of us is a parasite, though? I have to ask. I'm not up on my nature terms.
It's not necessarily parasitic. I forget exactly what kind of bird, but I think it's with hippos or elephants or something like that, where the bird will sit on its back and eat the bugs off of it.
Okay, so do you want to be the bird or the hippo? I'm open to either. in this metaphor.
I guess it depends on what specifically you and I are talking about.
Okay, it's
I
moment by
forgot
moment.
I forgot to specify the relationship. I meant mutualism. That's when both species benefit. I'm
No,
so
it's
sorry.
okay. No, it's okay. I'm not at all. I'm just giving you a hard time. Sorry.
Quick question. So,
sure.
say for someone who's putting like maximum effort into it,
Mhm.
from your first semester, how much time would it take to land a job?
Oh, I cannot give you any guarantees. I could tell I can tell you what my personal experience is, which I feel is more fair, but like I said, no guarantees, and the world is changing every month, unfortunately. But I put the time in. I basically I did STC as my hobby outside of FTC. That was my whole life in school and working. And I have never been out of a job for more than 2 weeks. Straight from school to job to the next job to the next job to the next job. And a lot of that was because of the relationships with my mentor. We have a question: how long does the partnership last? We plan it for a year, so it runs fall through spring. But then after that, we leave it up to the mentor-mentee pairs if they want to continue. I was with my mentor, Dan Voss, for like 3 years, I think, before we kind of, we weren't officially mentor-mentee anymore. Or like I mentioned, we have a leadership development program, which is like what John has transitioned into, where we focus more on leadership activities and less on like career search, partly because John already has a job offer for when he graduates. Kudos to John. Tiny claps. So we plan for a year, but there's the opportunity to extend it if you both decide that you want to do that. So hopefully that answers your question. Yep. Excellent. Thank you for giving me feedback.
Yeah, and just in case, I'll post the mentee application again in the chat for anybody
Thank
who
you,
missed it.
John.
Yeah, definitely. And it'll also be on our Discord too. I'll post the link there after the meeting.
Okay. And I included a link to the slides. I think that's hopefully all the information you need. Anything else, you can also find everything about the program, history of the program, anyone who's ever been paired up in the program. It's all on the STC Florida chapter website. I can give you that link as well if you want to read up on the program guidelines, most of which are pretty intuitive, but in case that's something that interests you, they are available as well. And I hope that you guys will consider applying.
Yeah, I'm looking forward to just seeing all the mentee-mentee pairs we get, or mentee-mentor pairs we get.
We run out of mentors. We just pair up mentees and we're like, you're going to learn from each other.
Yeah, just good luck. Teach each other.
No, don't worry.
Everyone for themselves. But
Yeah.
yeah, I'm looking forward to the mentor-mentee pairs. So 2 weeks for the application period. So feel free to take a look at it if you want to just consider it. And then at the end of the 2 weeks, we're going to start the pairing process and take next steps from there. And conveniently, it's the day of our next general body meeting and the day right after the STC Florida meeting. So a lot going on in that little period. So very easy to remember
You
that.
get plenty of reminders.
Yeah, lots happening in that little period. So looking forward to that.
All right. I think we're good for tonight then.
All right, I think so. And thanks everybody who came to present and for just sharing everything with us.
Yeah. Very happy to have made the time. Appreciate you guys listening and asking questions. And hopefully we'll talk to you soon.
All righty, sounds good. Good night, everyone.